Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. I'm back. I'm your co-host, RJ, carried by my fellow co-hosts on Tuesday night. Great job, lads, but great to be back. Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. World Cup fever is well and truly upon us. Robbie, how you going? I'll start with you first.
I'm great, mate. I really am into the festivities of it now. I can't wait. I've been watching heaps of other people's content, so we're going to be pumping out some of our own tonight.
Good stuff. And Scott, you're looking flash, my man. How you holding up?
Yeah, man, doing well, pumped. I'm glad that Robbie kept up with my jersey theme tonight. We're wearing jerseys of teams that aren't going to the World Cup. So Arsenal won't be there, Italy won't be there. Robbie's on theme. Love it.
Only if somebody told me to wear my Malta jersey, we could have all been lined up, but I didn't bring my one tonight. But all good. I saw your show the other night.
Arsenal have no idea about stars, Scotty.
We'll see.
You know the stars when you win a championship or a World Cup or a Champions League?
I'm just telling you what the theme is. I'm just telling you the theme. We don't need to fight already.
That's it. Look, gloves are still on, guys. We don't need to take them off just yet. Big World Cup preview. Obviously, lots of categories to uncover. Who progresses, who wins it, breakout player, top goal scorer, golden glove. You know how it goes. But also, just quickly, a bit of speculation about a very important player and perhaps a big money move at a different type of competition. But we'll go through all of that. Scott, over to you, my man.
Yeah, we have we covered in depth the Cristiano Ronaldo interview. We talked about his legacy. We talked about how United fans may interpret that. And we've had some news today that the A-League, the Australian Domestic League, we're preparing some kind of offer for Cristiano Ronaldo. Boys, here's
You popped up on mute there, Scotty. I thought you were speechless because of the speculation.
Speechless. As excited as I would be to see him strutting around Campbelltown Stadium, I'm going to be the Debbie Downer and say absolute nonsense, absolute BS. I think we just move on, mate. He ain't coming to Australia. Maybe in another 10 years.
What do you think, though? Is Scott being a perennial pessimist, or is there some truth to this, mate?
I don't think. I think I'm definitely on Scotty's side for this, mate. Give me the vibes of if I walk past Ferrari and I feel like going in and making a bid on the car. And it's never going to happen, but I'll just believe that it's going to happen.
No, fair call. But we'll see what happens. It's big news either way. But Scott, let's get cracking into it.
Yeah, look, the format for tonight, we're going to have a quick look at the groups. We're going to talk about which two teams from each group we think will go through. And then we're going to unpack who we think our tournament winner is, Golden Boot, breakout player of the tournament, maybe star of the tournament too. We're going to try to keep this short, sharp, and sweet. But of course, It's a Football Thing is nothing without the great community we have. So a big good evening to Tom from the United Pubcast, our guest from Tuesday. We got George here all the way from Greece, Justin in the house, my man G all the way from the UK. Look forward to seeing your thoughts on whether your boys are going through. We got Matt, Zevio Genius. We all know France ain't making it. Oof. Glad I didn't wear my France jersey tonight with that kind of smack talk already. The concierge is here, and Borges here, of course. Wouldn't be a show without him. Let's get straight into the groups, boys. I want to kick this off short, sharp, sweet, and straight to the point. These are our groups for the World Cup in Qatar. Group A, Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. As far as groups go for me, this is probably amongst the easiest to predict. I do think that now this is dependent on Sadio Mane. If Sadio Mane is fit and firing, Senegal can top this group with the Netherlands behind. But I think it's certainly a toss-up between those two teams. Robbie, where are you with this group?
I think it's Dutch Delight, as I should say. Now, look, I think Dutch Delight, I think they do. The Netherlands should breeze through this, even with or without a Mane in Senegal. And that's no respect. I just think that Louis van Gaal has had this team since he brought them back. And, they've been on a really good run. They're into the Nations League final. They topped a decent group. They've got a lot of youth. And, they still play their total football, which is attractive. They like to play with their wing back. And yeah, I really think that they've got enough quality to top this group. Obviously, I think Senegal will be following them, and then I do think the host might have a bit of trouble in this, and I think they might not get much points. I think they'll finish bottom.
Okay, RJ, which two?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be the Netherlands, of course. I think they're a team that they might not be the same names of old, but they've got some exciting names of the future and the present. And Senegal, like you said, Robbie, no Mane, but they're still a formidable outfit. And I do not think, with all due respect, that the host nation and even Ecuador, we know that what they can do, they won't have enough to advance, in my opinion. So the bottom two in this group will be the top two at the end of it.
Okay, look, that one's pretty straightforward, as is for me Group B, because there's a clear favourite for this group. Are we all in agreement, boys, that this is England's group? We're all in agreement. I think
100%.
England, I believe, will have a good tournament. I think they will go deep. I still don't think, though, with Gareth Southgate, that they're going to seriously push for the World Cup trophy. Do you think England can do much with Gareth Southgate, Robbie, or do you think he's tactically not the man for them?
Look, it's a hard one because, like I said, results are the proof in the pudding. And like I said, in the past two tournaments, he's made a final and a semi-final. It's not the most attractive way, but I'm sure if they won it, no one would be complaining at the same time. They've got so much quality in the team. I'm just wondering if this is kind of like his final chance to do something with them. And like I could see if he doesn't get to a semi-final at least, I could see him getting the boot. So maybe he does let the shackles off a little bit, and I hope it does because I do think that if this team goes out to score goals, I think they've got plenty of goals and they can go deep in the tournament.
Yep, fair shout. RJ, this is an interesting one here from George. He's saying USA and Wales will expose Southgate for the fraud he is. Your man Pulisic will spin Harry Maguire and lob my man Ramsdale.
That would be nice.
Look, from a banter point of view, it would be funny. But I think secretly, as passionate fans of the Premier League, England, I dare say, would have the most players from our respective clubs, maybe not all. You kind of like watching England in these tournaments. It would be funny if they got knocked out in the group, but I also want to see what they can do as they go through the tournament. So where are you, RJ? Do you think there's any chance that England could miss out on getting out of the group?
No, I don't think missing out. And I don't know, like there's a lot of criticism of Southgate. Some of it's warranted because of how rigid he seems to be. And I think there's a lot of criticism just because of the individual star power. And he doesn't seem to have a willingness to want to take some risks and really give him a chance to unleash. But trying to be fair here, he also has gotten some pretty good results out of this team. The loyalty card has worked again. They were a couple of spot kicks away from winning the Euros. And say what you will, but that was almost a very, very effective tournament. And obviously the World Cup before that, they did pretty well as well. So, of course, Italy did the job. But I don't know. I think they'll comfortably, in my opinion, get out of the group.
Yeah.
The real proof in the pudding will be beyond the quarters. I reckon they'll struggle around that mark, to be honest.
Who else goes with England, RJ?
I say, controversially, the USA. They haven't been inspiring during the qualifying campaign. That's a given. But what they do have, individually, some really quality talent. So I think if they could somehow bring it together at the most pivotal time, get a win against Iran, get a draw against Wales, and they can frustrate England, mate, I wouldn't put it past them to scrape their way through. But Wales are probably the favourites, but I'm going for an outsider's bolter here.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, not to disagree. I just think I got the Americans coming last. I think that it'll be a flip of a coin between Iran and Wales. I've got Wales going through, but I think Iran's going to be hard to beat. I think defensively they were really good. I think it was last World Cup they had a really good game against Portugal as well defensively, and I'm pretty sure they've got two strikers in Europe, one at Porto and one maybe at Benfica as well. So I don't think they're going to be an easy beat, but I do expect the two Europeans to qualify here. So England first, and I think Wales just behind them.
See, I've got a run at the bottom of this group. USA do have some individual brilliance. I do think Wales are quite a cohesive unit, though. They're a strong team. Like, there's been a lot of consistency and stability around their team. So I think that will see Wales through. But for me, it's flip of coin with Wales and Iran. G in the chat saying if England don't get out the group, he has to go. I dare say their bar's set pretty high for him, that he needs to get a lot further than the group to be safe. And Tom asking who England's scapegoat will be when they crash out. Look, I think they'll probably – I have a feeling they might turn on Harry Kane this World Cup.
It's probably Mason Mount's fault. Even if he doesn't play, it's still his fault.
Probably. All right, let's move on, boys. And, Arj, I'm going to give you first word on this group. Group C, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Your goats in here. There's that fairy tale script of Messi in his last World Cup, you'd assume, before retirement, going and lifting the trophy. And a lot of people are predicting them to finish quite well. Where are you at? Do you want me to put the group back up for you?
No, that's okay. Like you said, buoyed off the back of a 5-0 thrashing against powerhouses UAE this morning. Angel Di Maria, brace, Messi with goal 91. And before we get, they only do it against the really small teams. So he's only scored 6 against Uruguay, 5 against Brazil, 5 against Chile. He scored against Germany, Croatia, France, Portugal, all of those minnow countries, of course. So he's a very bad player in the international scene. But in all seriousness, Argentina as a whole, they've been really strong collectively. Undefeated run has been really high. So I expect them to cruise through their group, touch wood. I don't know. I saw Concierge of Crime, by the way. But just for me, boys, they are going to go deep. In terms of who complements them, so just bring it back up for a sec, Scott, when you get a moment.
You've got Mexico.
Yep.
You've got Poland in there.
Yeah, Poland for me. I know Poland are a team that are a little bit top-heavy and struggle a little bit in the middle, like we said on Marty's show the other night. But I still think, and they had a good win this morning, Piatek, 1-0 against Chile, I believe. I think they'll find a way to be able to play a little bit more direct, as I say, and really get them involved. So I really expect Argentina cruise first, Poland to scrape their way through in second, but it won't be a given, that's for sure.
Look, for me, I'll keep it simple. I'm going with, of course, Argentina. It's hard not to. I have them going deep in the tournament as well, not winning it. Spoiler alert. And I actually think the UAE are going to be quite difficult to beat. We spoke about this the other night on Marty's show. Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. You got me. The climatization of the players, they're used to playing in that heat. A lot of them play within their domestic league, so there's already that bit of chemistry. Very fast as well, quick on the counter-attack. I think they'll get pumped by Argentina, but the other two games, you never know. For both Mexico and Poland, their men up front haven't been banging in the goals. Lewandowski, as George says, has never scored at a World Cup. They just don't know how to make the most of him. And Jimenez for Mexico has not been in great form. So, yeah, it's going to be tricky in this group. What about you, Robbie? I think he's frozen up there.
Yeah, look, I have to agree. Look, I think it's quite easy to say Argentina. Here or what?
Yep, you're good, Rob.
He was just giving Messi prop, I think, basically.
Yeah.
You're saying Messi is better than the GOAT because he focuses on football, not Piers Morgan. Nah, just kidding. But no, you know what? Just on Mexico quickly, they're a team I was looking at before. They seem to be very good at, despite not having the star power, being able to progress through to the actual group stages. But look, yesterday's performance or indicators aren't an indicator of future performance. But I don't know, man. I still think Poland might just scrape this one, but I can see what you're saying. This one's actually a really difficult one to pick for me in that second spot, Scott.
I keep hearing this from people, and stadiums are air conditioned. Thanks, Captain Obvious, for letting me know that. I'm not sure. I didn't know they were. But you speak to people who have been over there, and I know people who went over when the Socceroos went. It's still, air conditioning is great, but when it's 40 degrees outside, you're still not freezing, are you? It's still hot. No matter how air conditioned it is, it's a stadium. These athletes running in the middle of it. There's air conditioning will help, but I still think the climate plays a big factor in this cup, particularly when these players are coming in from the intensity of a season. We've got Robbie back with us. Robbie, just very quickly, and you're still a bit laggy on our end. We'll see how it goes. Tell us your two teams to go through.
Yeah, Argentina and Poland, mate. I'll keep it quick. I think I'm on the Macca's Wi-Fi tonight, if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Gotcha, mate. Gotcha.
And here you go from George. It was 37 degrees at 7 a.m. when he was there 2 weeks ago. So there you go. Matty saying he reckons it's going to be 28. Emad telling him to harden up. I'd like to see Emad run for 90 minutes like these boys with a cigarette in one hand, probably. And then Australia wins it. Well, look, I wouldn't compare our climate to that of the Middle East or Africa, but hey, who knows? Who knows? I'm not a meteorologist. What I am, though, is a Socceroo, a big supporter of our national team. And this is a conflicting group for me because obviously everybody knows that France is the team I'll back as soon as Australia's not there. But while Australia's there, there is no question. I would love to see Australia dominate France in the first game, but it's not going to happen. Unfortunately for me, and I've seen a lot of people on social media, boys, getting really upset that a lot of European pundits and people doing these kinds of shows aren't giving us a whole lot of love. I don't want to be the pessimist in the room, but what do we expect? We scraped qualification. Our whole qualification campaign for me was uninspiring. Graham Arnold's not the man I'd have at the helm. I've wanted him out for a very, very long time. And I'm not feeling a lot of optimism. Of course, I'm excited to see Australia there, but I just don't see us getting out of the group, unfortunately. I think France will dominate this. They're one of the tournament favourites for me, but they do always start slow. I still see France topping the group, Denmark in close second, and I know, Robbie, you and I had a bit of a tiff about this on Marty's show for anyone who's watched, but I think Australia come third. Where are you, Robbie?
Oh, look, the only thing I disagree with you is Denmark. I've got them top in the group. As you said, France always starts slow. And yeah, I just feel that, as RJ likes to say, they're a star team, not a team full of stars. And I respected what they've done in the Euros last year, getting all the way to the semi-final with no Christian Eriksen. So yeah, look, I think it's going to be even on goal difference. As I said the other night, I think they could have a fast start against Tunisia, and I think the Aussies will maybe put up a little bit of a fight. I don't think it's going to be a blow up if the Aussies are smart. And yeah, it could go down to definitely Denmark can get a draw, if not a win, like they've done twice this year against the French. So I've got Denmark topping with France and then Australia and Tunisia.
Okay, I do have Tunisia bottom as well. RJ, can the Aussies get out?
Mate, where's your patriotic spirit, lads? I know, Scott, you're a Le Bleu, you're a French, so you got a fullback. But for Robbie and I, come on, that's all we've got, mate. That's all we've got. We haven't got Italy this time. But being objective, being fair, being balanced, it does paint a very grim picture. I know. I wish I was a balanced green and gold, to be honest. But Denmark and France, mate, it's actually even difficult. I know I said the other night I had Australia to go into second spot, but that's just really being heart or passion without really thinking critically. If I'm being fair, mate, I could see, Denmark first, France second, just because of France's midfield problems. And I say problems because of the experience they've lost. That's what I mean by problems, not because of talent. But, geez, how good of a story would it be to see us just somehow fluke our way into second spot? But to be fair, let's lock in. I'll still go France top. France top, Denmark second, Australia third, Tunisia fourth.
France have a habit of turning it on.
For Australia to get through, the stars have to literally align everything. Yeah. They've got to get results. They've got to beat Tunisia in that second game, and they've got to go all out for in the demo.
The Southern Cross stars, Robbie, have to align.
It's 100%. And like I say, a quick question for you boys. I was listening to a few people the other day. If this Australia team did get through to the knockout stage, Like we call the golden generation 2006, obviously on paper the best we've ever had, and obviously they made it through to the round of 16. What would you call this generation if they did get out and they made it to the round of 16 with this crop of players?
I would say a good generation. Like that golden generation, probably. Now let's not go too far into that controversial match against Italy, but what we can probably agree on is that the Aussies were hanging on pretty tight, and had it not been for that moment, that match was not far from penalties. So I do think that golden generation they were good to watch. I think that's something that also made them a golden generation. They were exciting to watch, whereas now I'm excited because it's Australia and it's a World Cup, but I'm not excited by the football. So I still don't think that they're in that bracket.
They were exciting to watch.
You reckon?
And they scored a couple of good goals during. I'm talking about the golden generation.
Oh, okay, yep.
But even that game against Italy, again, for as good as they were, they still had a man advantage and failed to capitalize. So they were good without being great, but the best we've had. And for us to progress out of this group, knowing that we've got some really young prospects, I think it just depends. If they were to get through and say they get knocked out in the round of 16, if they were to narrowly lose in the round of 16, mate, that would be a phenomenal achievement, honestly speaking. So I don't know. I think they've got potential in that squad. We obviously know the big name players.
Yeah.
But if all those stars align, you never know, boys. You never know.
If the stars align, they'll be playing Messi in the round of 16.
That's it.
Hopefully causing RJ to cry. Let's look at a couple of comments from the chat. George saying we'll be lucky to score a goal. Denmark first, France second. And he's mentioning the Nations League groups, definitely. Can't argue with that. We've got there Matt. He's very optimistic tonight. I love this. I think we have that thrive. Maybe with some of the elders gone, it'll be hard to lift the spirit. But Moyes' interview gives me confidence. He thinks Denmark first, Aussies second. Mate, I would love to see the Aussies get out of this group. It would be amazing. Tom pointing out the Eriksen journey from the Euros to the World Cup. And that is, I mean, you take a moment just to be happy for Christian Eriksen. He's, regardless of team rivalries or any of that, what happened to him in the Euros was terrifying. And to see him bouncing back at club and international level is a football thing. We all like that. And one more before we move on. G, he's saying France and Australia. I love that bit of love from our English neighbours. France is his second team. His grandmother was French. Wants to know my French connection. Exactly the same as you, mate. I have a Parisian-born grandmother. My dad's mum was born there. So small connection, but I'll take it. I'll take it for now. Let's look at Group E, gents. This is a spicy group. For me, Costa Rica are at the bottom of this group. They're probably the least likely to get out. I think Japan can cause some problems. They're very disciplined, quick, and they do the little things right, I find, with Japan. So they're not really a mistake-ridden team. But I look then at Spain and Germany. The Spanish squad, young, fiery, hungry. But the German team, for me, there's just a good balance of experience and youth. And I do think some of those German players really need to lift. For example, someone like Kai Havertz, who I think's had a poor club season so far, but is more than capable of firing in this World Cup. So for me, I'm going Germany top, Spain in second. RJ, where are you?
Well, it's funny you bring up Kai Havertz because he had an assist this morning in their 1-0 win over Oman. So at the international stage, he's actually been quite productive. So I think they were happy to have the German Kai Havertz there. Look, they're a quality team, quality midfield. Germany, we know the functional efficiency that they have in that team with plenty of stars. Obviously, players like Goretzka, I'm excited to see. Kimmich, he's one of the very best in that position. So I expect them to qualify. Some people will say, but where do they finish? I've got a lot of raps on Spain, man. I'm not a big Spain fan, but I'm a big fan of the risk that they take, the way that they're like a boa constrictor. They just suffocate the opposition, and more often than not, they find a solution and they've got some really exciting young prospects that I'm going to mention a bit later on. So, yeah, Spain for me first, Germany second, Japan with their headaches, and Costa Rica as the cellar dwellers.
Robbie, before we come to you, because I know you fancy this Spanish team as well, this is a great comment from Param. Spain seem to pick a squad based on fitness and not and not star names. Not many big names, but as a team, he thinks they can play anyone off the park with Luis Enrique. Is that how you're feeling about this Spanish team, Robbie?
Well, look, I have to say, you've turned me around since Monday night, because as I was agreeing with the Spain topping this one, but I have looked into it a little bit more, and I think this is one of the ones I've changed my mind. I've switched them around, and I have put the Germans on top, and I've gone just for the simple reason of team chemistry. I think 80% of that team or 70% of that team is Bayern Munich. I'm just going for, because there's just not a lot of time. It's pretty much 1 week from when it just finished the season to now. I think just whoever's got the best chemistry is going to obviously have that slight advantage compared to players that are just all over the place. And that normally there's a good 2-3 weeks of people training together, coming from all over the place, learning tactics. I think it's just that's just a slight advantage I'm going with now with the Germany and the Bayern Munich connection. How they all know each other's game. So look, I think it will come down to the game between the two. That obviously who will top this group. Both two European powerhouses, but I have changed my mind. Germany, Spain, and I think Japan can be hard to beat. I think they'll be in third, and like I said, I agree with the boys. Costa Rica, it's just an aging team. Like I said, it's a team pretty much from the 2014 World Cup who topped their group against England, Uruguay, and us, Italy. So they had a cracker one, but it's the same team, and they're on the wrong side of the hill now.
All right, boys, let's move on to Group F. I think this one might be a little bit quicker for us to go through. RJ, what do you have from Group F? Who are your two going through?
It's got a bit of top and bottom there. It's got to be the Croatian sensations and Belgium for me. I know Belgium aren't the team that they are, but KDB, they've still got quality there. It's not the same Hazard, I know, but they've got a good pairing at the back defensively, not the quickest, but have the chemistry Rob alluded to, which I think is important in the short form tournament. And, of course, they've got the firepower up top that at least I know with Lukaku. I know they're not the same strength, but enough to get the job done. And Croatia, for me, what a midfield. They've got to get through just on that alone.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, Robbie, a few things in here. Borche's tipping Belgium, Canada.
Yeah.
George is tipping Belgium, Croatia. Borche's saying don't sleep on Canada. Are you sleeping on Canada, Robbie?
Just like 40 winks, mate. They're coming bottom of this group for me. I just don't think. I told you they had a great qualifying phase, but I just think this is a massive step up in quality now. It's not the North America comp. This is too big Europe. Like, what have we got here? We've got second and third from the last World Cup, and how many world class players just in Belgium and Croatia in themselves. And I even think Morocco. For me, I think they've got quite a few decent players themselves there. So, look, again, very hard with Belgium, Croatia. The other night I had Croatia topping this group. As RJ said, I really rate their midfield, probably nearly one of the best in this tournament. Very experienced. Again, not a lot of goals up front for Croatia. And Belgium, again, this is really they're hanging on for their last chance now. Their golden generation is starting to pass by. Again, Lukaku is not coming into this fit. He might be ready by the second or third game. I think heavily they're relying on people like Tillemans, with De Bruyne from midfield to create and score goals. And like I said, I think for Belgium, it's their centre-back partnership that's their biggest worry. Vertonghen and Toby. I just think they're very no pace there. Obviously, a lot of experience, but again, if anywhere they're going to be thought out there, I think it's going to be there. So I'm still gonna go Croatia, topping this group in front of Belgium. Just
is Borche for real? You think with Group F in that order? That's got to be a stitch up. Croatia last.
No, it's well.
Okay, that's interesting.
They just topped the Nations League final and just topped their group as well. Have a little bit of respect, and they just were the runners up at the last World Cup. They've still
but I see his point. He's probably worrying about the climate. Like, it would be very hot for the Croatians there, although I've heard the Croatian summer's lovely. Look, boys, I'm going to keep this one quick. For me, it's Belgium and then Croatia. Toss of a coin, though. I mean, it could go either way. Croatia have a lot of experience. They have good tournament form. Belgium, you just keep thinking, when's this team going to do something? And this is really last chance. Yeah, I don't see them going far, but I'm going to go with Belgium first, Croatia second. I'm not confident, though. This is a tough group to call. You've got Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. Cameroon, just because the live chats are loving it, climate's going to be no problem for them. They're really going to thrive in these conditions, especially if the air conditioning breaks. Switzerland, for me, with Granit Xhaka, they're another team with very good chemistry. They've got some young, exciting talents. They've got good leadership from my man, Granit Xhaka. I think they're going to give this group a real good shake-up. Serbia, we know what they offer. They're a very talented team. They're going to fight till the last second. An informed Mitrovic coming in. There's just plenty of fight in the Serbians. And Brazil, I don't need to speak about Brazil at this point because I'll speak about them a little bit later on. But they're just class all over the pitch. So they top this group easily for me. And then it comes down to a straight shootout because Brazil will beat all three of these teams. It's going to come down to Switzerland versus Serbia, I think, for me. And I fancy the Swiss. So I'm going Brazil to top the group, Switzerland in second. Robbie, where are you?
Yeah, look, easy one, Quickfire, Brazil. Red hot favourites for this tournament. Yep. So much quality all over the pitch. So they're definitely topping this group. For me, I've got Serbia as well coming second, as I said the other night. I just think that, again, they topped their qualifying group against Portugal. They've got some really good players, top midfield in the back. Again, Switzerland always make the knockout stages, Euros and World Cups. But again, I just think that they're starting to age a little bit. I've got my eyes set on Serbia for second in this one.
RJ.
100%. Brazil, for those in the finance world, they'll appreciate this one. Brazil's got more options than a trading desk, so they're too strong. They've got too many quality players there to not easily progress in straight shootout here. Serbia, for me, I just really like the balance across their team. Like I was just going through that list now. Some of those defenders there, they don't probably get enough rated. Like Pavlovic is a top player. Mitrovic, the other one, not the attacking one from Getafe, he's a quality player. Obviously, the one up front that we're used to at Fulham, top player. But that middle, Milinkovic-Savic, top player. Kostic as well for Juventus. He's in the form of his life. Tadic from Ajax. That team, mate, talk about not sleeping on teams. That's a team not to sleep on, mate. So I wouldn't want to come up against them because of their physicality. 100% G. So look, Brazil for me. I respect Switzerland. They've done a job against Italy. They saved a couple penalties, but not enough to get past the mighty Serbs, in my opinion.
Okay, then let's look at Group H. Robbie, I let RJ intro Group C with his GOAT. He's still your man. He's still Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester's own. Glazers out. Talk to us about Group H.
Scotty, I love you. Look, he is my GOAT still, and no matter how much he's broken my heart in the last 48 hours, he's still the GOAT for me. But look, and I always call it how it is, boys. And as I said the other night, Portugal again on paper, again one of the most talented squads in this tournament. They got everything in every position: midfield, wing backs, goalkeeper, defense, obviously heaps of attack. Of plenty of players in the Premier League as well. But I'm going to be honest. I think that playing Ronaldo every game is going to hurt them. I think if Santos takes a leaf out of Eric's book and manages his game time, not starts him and plays him 90 minutes, I think that'll be a positive for them. If he does, I just think it's going to be so get the ball to Ronaldo to score, because if they don't, they have got a lot of options and quality. Like I said, you got your Bernardo Silva, you got your Bruno Fernandes, you got your centre backs in Diaz, you got a good goalkeeper. They're just Jota, Rafael Leao in AC Milan. They got Jota's injured, I think. Actually, he's not. He didn't make the squad.
Cancelo.
Look, there's just so much quality. So look, I've got them again just topping this group over Uruguay because I think Uruguay, again, they're a typical South American team. They love to fight like warriors. Obviously, they've got their veterans there, Cavani and Suarez up front, Godin at the back still. And then they've got their younger guys coming through, Bentancur midfield from Spurs. Obviously, the Donker we all know at Liverpool, Darwin up front as well, joining the attack. I really think they could push them. It's going to be. I think Uruguay knocked out Portugal in the last World Cup as well, so they've got a bit of history together. I will go the Portuguese just on this one, but I'm expecting Uruguay. And then I'm going to go Korea, and then unfortunately Ghana to finish last. But I am looking forward to that Ghana Uruguay game after the whole episode in 2010.
Yeah, it should be good. It should be good. RJ, where are you at?
Oh, you brought up some foul memories there. Poor Ghana. Poor Ghana. They're going to be spewing again. I think it will be. I think it will be a very tight one, like you said, Rob. I do reckon, though, Portugal overall have the better squad than Uruguay, and I expect that to shine. I don't expect Ronaldo to have really much of an impact at all. It's not because of what's happened recently. I just think there's a lot of better players than him at the moment. But he never know. He might have a cameo, but I just expect him to be on the periphery. That's just my opinion. But we'll see. I think they'll top the group, and Uruguay close second for me.
Yeah, look, I'm with you boys on that. I think it's going to be Portugal, and then it'll be Uruguay. But I don't see Uruguay going much further after that. Couple from the chat here. You've got George saying Portugal first, South Korea second. Wow. Look, interesting shout, but I just don't see enough quality in the South Korean team. Or it could just be that I don't know enough about their players. Look how they turn, RJ. Look how quickly they turn on their GOAT. Remember the celebrations when they signed him? Look at how they turn. CR37 will get humbled.
It's a good one, to be fair.
Yeah,
Portugal and Uruguay. We do want Thomas Partey home, safe and sound early. Param, Uruguay and Portugal for him. He would love Korea to go ahead. Look, it would be interesting. And then Ronaldo to only score one goal. And Param has Uruguay in the semis. Wow. Got a lot of faith in this aging squad, but hey, plenty of experience. Now, boys, we've gone through the groups. And for those who are watching at the moment, just to give you a bit of a heads up on the structure during the World Cup, we will be doing some form of match reaction after each Socceroos game. Of course, being all locals, we want to react to those matches. At the end of each match day, so once all the groups have played their first match, we'll do a show. After the second match, we'll do a show. And so on. So you'll just need to keep an eye on our socials because the schedule might be a little bit different. It won't necessarily be the regular Tuesday, Thursday, but can't wait to cover it. Boys, groups out of the way. Let's have a look at who we think might be a real breakout player in here. Not young player of the tournament, although it may be both for you, but who's a player that for you has a massive World Cup and why? Any volunteers to go first?
Robbie, you can go first.
Chucked him under the bus quick.
No, I'm sure he's prepared,
Look,
mate. He's most organised.
I've gone that's it. Now, look, I've gone a little bit in the youth area, but look, I've got massive reps to Bill in him. I really rate this kid a lot, and I think he will start in that midfield with probably Declan Rice and I'd say maybe a Mason Mount, obviously one of the attackers there. But I just think this kid's got everything. Like I said, I always brag about him. Box to box, he can defend. He helps track back. He's definitely got a goal and assist in him. And I think this is definitely no disrespect to Calvin Phillips, but I think it's just he's gonna take the opportunity with Calvin Phillips coming off the back of not playing much at City and being injured. I think he's an upgrade on him, and I think that he can definitely push his England team to the next level if Southgate lets it happen. But yeah, for me, if Southgate lets them play like they should, I really think this kid's going to be the shining light in that England midfield.
Okay, so he's kind of your breakout player and also your young player who will really stand out, right, Robbie?
Yeah.
Perfect. RJ, I'm not the organised one, so you can go next, mate.
Yeah, and a few people gave away my answer to chat. I've really got big raps on this Pedri from Spain, man. I've seen what he's done to us at the Euros, and not just us, to all the other teams, and what he's been doing in the club world. He's a top talent. I think he's still an emerging star. He's still very young, of course. In terms of other players, definitely Jude, he's got to be up there. But man, I've also got to say, like obviously, Messi's the player all the eyes will be watching. But my boy from Inter, Lautaro Martinez, I reckon he could also have a big breakout tournament. So I'll be having the close magnifying glass on him, man.
Yeah, there you go. Look,
we can't say Mbappe. He won a World Cup last time.
As a breakout player, sort of thing.
That's what I think.
I'm in the same camp as Justin here. I think Neymar is a player who's going to have a huge tournament. I'm not saying breakout necessarily, but just a player who's really going to take this by the scruff of the neck. And I think he'll be the player of the tournament potentially. I think he's just got a sense of leadership around him. And I think being reunited with Messi at PSG has come at a good time, because Messi, even if you're Team Ronaldo, he's an absolute professional, and he comes across quite humble. So I do think that we're going to see a big World Cup from Neymar. Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, someone who's got a point to prove, can be really dangerous. He's come out of his chest against Man United and Ten Hag. What better way to prove his point than by being one of the best players at this tournament? So I think that's going to be really, really interesting to see. And in terms of a breakout player, like a young player, I don't know if I can use him, but I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka. I think he's going to have a really big tournament for England. He'll step up into a more of a leadership role, but he's still so young. So my young player, Saka, but two players to shine, Ronaldo, Neymar for me. RJ, what's wrong, mate? You look like you've got something you want to say.
Oh, I'm just laughing because the amount of defense we're giving to Ronaldo is not having a good period at the moment. But I understand your motivation. We'll see. You never know. Don't push a wounded lion, as they say.
I didn't realize.
Oh, God, Rob, that Macca's Wi-Fi tonight,
that's
man.
it.
If we were talking about with the whole. Sorry, boys. Now, look, for me, if it's Golden Ball in the tournament, I'm giving it to Messi. I actually think they'll go right to the end, and he gets it if they win or lose anyway.
I'm Neymar for the Golden Ball in this tournament. Who are you, RJ?
Yeah, you got to say Messi, but at the moment, just because of his form, club and country. But I'm trying to think of someone different than them two guys. I don't know. Just trying to think of be a bit different, but I don't know. Mbappe could do it. He could do it again. He's got enough talent around him to supply him. But I don't think they will go all the way, to be honest.
Who's your top goal scorer for this tournament?
I probably could say Neymar for that, to be honest. I could see him being topping this one.
I'm actually going with Karim Benzema in this. I know there's some fitness concerns, but once he starts firing, the way France play, it's a little bit different to when they had Giroud leading the line. Like Giroud would lead that line, but his main role was to bring the other guys into the scoring positions. Whereas with Benzema, they play in a way to put the chances on his boot. Like I do think they'll really play to Benzema's strengths. He's coming in good form. He's my Golden Boot winner for this tournament. I've got here Golden Boot Ronaldo, Benzema for G, Rashford. Mate, that's if he even gets to start. Let's not worry about Rashford. I don't even think he starts. So, Robbie, top goal scorer. Sorry, mate.
If I'm hearing me, boys, I've got Mbappe. I really do think.
Yeah.
I'm out or what?
I'm just gonna give him the boot to rejoin. Rejoin the stream, Robbie. Jump out, jump back in, mate. Tell the missus.
I was gonna say, Scott. You know who might be a good shout for player of the tournament if Brazil go all the way. Don't be surprised if Thiago Silva, because he's the experienced leader. He's done it. He's still a top quality player. He's very important to the way they build up their attack. So he wouldn't be someone I wouldn't be surprised to see get it. But of course, that's a bit of Chelsea bias too.
I would be, man. There's the level of disrespect for defensive players. I just don't see him giving.
True. That's a good point. What about the cum dog, mate?
Yeah, no, look, maybe Qual. Qual might be that breakout.
Quality.
Yeah, that's it. Robbie, you're back again. There's Mrs. Rob. Oops, she's not on Netflix.
I never have any.
Good.
I never copped the bad Wi-Fi, so it's just a bad night for me.
She's not a bad wife, Rob. Come on, mate.
Don't call her a bad wife, right? Let's go, Robbie. Give me your top goal scorer before you cut out again, champ.
I'm going Mbappe, mate, and my second.
I'm struggling.
This is like the Piers Morgan interview, mate. It's all crashing down on United, Ronaldo. It's all happening, boys.
Mate, this is why we're not at 1K subs. This is why we're not at 1K. Tell you what, no, we can't blame Robbie. We love him. He's just having some net issues, so we might just keep soldiering on. We've talked about the groups. We've talked about some of those awards. What I want to know, RJ, is who's going to win the tournament. Who lifts this World Cup trophy at the end of the day? Yeah, look at this from George saying the Italy kit just doesn't belong on this stream.
Now. None of that. No name calling. Nah, stir him up.
Robbie, we want Robbie back in here too. I know the boss is watching. Get him back on, Sam. We need him on at least for this question, then he can go. Who wins it though?
For me, look, it's a tough one. Bias me says Argentina, great unbeaten streak. Now or never for them. Mixture of Messi, Di Maria, Martinez. They've got obviously some quality at the back now, which was a big concern for them. Defensively had a lot of holes, very leaky defense. But I think they've really shored up that back line now, and that really gives them a platform to allow those creative players to go and work their magic with a bit more freedom. But honestly, man, it's very hard to look past a very stacked Brazil team. They are quality across all areas of the pitch. I'm trying to find the weaknesses like you and I were saying the other night, not too many on paper. The climate will be interesting, although they're a team that has played in some really hot weather. It's good to see Robbie back, mate.
That's
no
better,
Wi-Fi
Robbie.
Problems now, mate. You're looking good, by the way, just in time for who's going to win it. So
Mate,
I said Argentina.
Desperate times, mate. I'm on the phone now. I'm not back to
I love it. All that data, but yeah.
It's not bad. Just try and keep those hands nice and smooth. I do like seeing your face even closer. It makes me happy.
Love it.
RJ, so you're saying who, sorry?
Argentina, but mate, I could easily see this one being Brazil. That's my go.
So you're going with Argentina for Cup winner. Robbie, we'll go to you. Who wins it and why, mate?
Unfortunately, I think Brazil, mate. There's just so much quality. I think there's a real hype about them this year. I think more hype back in 2014 when they're actually at home. A lot of quality. Again, I don't want them to win, but I just don't see it. I think it's going to be 2 South Americans in the semi, 2 Europeans in the semi. It could be. I think Brazil edge it out, and I think they could get their 6th start. Unfortunately.
Okay, look, for me, I actually have Brazil making the final, but I do think we're going to see France go back to back. I look at the squad. I know that with France, they start slow and they get stronger the longer they're in the tournament. They seem to do quite well in those knockout ties. I just have a feeling that Benzema, once he gets that form again, which we already know he's got, Mbappe, he'll have a point to prove. With PSG, he's not necessarily the main man with Messi and Neymar. But with this France team, it's an opportunity to, again, stand up and say, look at me. I do think France, but if I had to pick a second, it's Brazil for me. So we've got Argentina, Brazil, France. It's probably going to be Tunisia now, just because we didn't tip them. Couple of predictions from the chat. G saying head Brazil, heart England or France. Justin, man, a few words, but good words, Brazil. George, wow, Spain wins. The way they hold the ball.
That's a smoky, mate. That's a smoky.
Yeah. It's going to be crucial in uncomfortable conditions. Don't mention the conditions. Emad and Borcha will get upset with you again. They don't rely on a high-intensity press, so they're more sustainable. Borcha saying Brazil. G, again, people are not talking about France. Even with injuries, their squad stacked. It's going to be exciting, boys. That's one thing we know. From that, how pumped are you for this cup? I know there was a lot of talk. There's the politics. I've even seen a lot of journalists say, "Oh, I'm really conflicted about going to the World Cup." Just go and enjoy the football. Like it's a FIFA World Cup. Whether you agree with where it is or not, just let yourself enjoy the moment. Don't take, for me, a festival of football, some of the greatest players in the world, and make it something. It's just go and watch. Go watch and enjoy it. I'm starting to get pumped. It takes me a while, but once I'm pumped, I'm pumped. Robbie, you're our international football correspondent. You love it, right?
I love it, mate. I'm sure me and Coffee are going to have a pretty good relationship, as usual, to get me through all the games. The age is starting to show now, mate, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge because I am one of those people that nearly like to watch as much as I can live. But, yeah, look, I really am looking forward to it, mate. It's just literally around the corner now. Bring it on.
RJ?
Man, it takes me a while to warm up too. And look, to be honest with you, I know it doesn't fit the narrative, but I haven't really got pumped up yet for it. And maybe it's because of the timing and because of all the controversy and all the drama that comes with it. But once it starts and let the football do the talking, that's when I get into the mode of it. But for now, it's a bit of a slow burner, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. People starting to get pumped. G's pumped. Can't wait. Just put in the chat, G, what time the group matches are kicking off over in the UK. Curious to know the time difference. And Justin, anywhere local to watch in the Southwest? Yeah, mate, Robbie's house. Doesn't mean bacon and eggs. Parties at Rob's. His wife's in the chat. She won't mind. Open podcast invitation. Everyone to Rob's. He lives in Oran Park, so we're good. Boys, have I missed something? I feel like I've missed something.
No, you mentioned the Ronaldo thing. Obviously, the second interview will be out tomorrow, the full thing, so we can comment on that next time, I'm sure. But I think we've done a pretty good job, boys. Did we? Actually, the one thing I think we might have missed was the Golden Glove, the goalkeeper. We didn't say it, did we? Or did we?
Golden Glove, yeah.
I kind of think, for me, I'll jump in first. I think it'll be Allison, to be honest. I reckon he'll get it.
Allison, okay. For me, I think England will go deep, and I actually think old mate Maguire is going to turn into prime Cannavaro and the England show. I think England, whoever their goalkeeper is, will keep that.
Yeah, look, not Lloris for me. I think he's going to be the biggest downfall for France at the moment. But I actually think, maybe Pickford could be a shout. I think Brazil will go a long way, but I still don't think they're going to keep a lot of clean sheets. So I'll go Pickford for this one, funny enough.
That's it. Well, look, like I said earlier on, and we'll come to the boys if they've got any quickfires in just a moment, we will have a different schedule during the FIFA World Cup. So our next show will be after the Socceroos match, probably that night. We'll confirm it all on our socials. And then at the end of each match day, we'll be on doing something, looking ahead at the match day that was and the match day that's to come. But again, keep your eye on our social media because we will put on when there's a stream. We'll keep you in the loop. Boys, got any quick fires?
Yeah, I've got one quickly. Take away the South American and European teams. Which nation would be the best or to win the World Cup is the first part.
So no South American teams, no European teams.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Japan. I do really like Japan.
Senegal for me would be quite strong.
Yeah, I think I'd go Senegal as well. I think I'd go.
Good shout.
And the last one, similar question, but a nation that hasn't won the World Cup, so take away all the boys that have won before, who do you reckon would go the furthest?
Possibly Belgium, maybe. Or Portugal haven't won it. Belgium or Portugal?
Okay. What about you, Arj?
Yeah, that one, or even Croatia, to be honest.
Yeah, true. I'm going to go Netherlands. I reckon there could be a bit of a smoky as well.
Yeah, good shout, good shout. Boys, I've got one for you. World Cup music, Waka Waka or Cup of Life?
Cup of Life.
This is hard. I'm going to have to go 98 Cup of Life, man. That was a banger.
I don't mind Waka Waka.
I like them both. But...
Yeah, I don't mind Shakira either. I know she's back on the market. I possibly could be if she wanted me, but for now I'm still unavailable. Sorry, Shakira. I'm going to say Waka Waka. That was all I had, RJ. You're up, man.
Mate, you're a waka waka, honestly. But you've all seen on social media the great passionate fans flying the flags of their countries that maybe suspect don't look like their actual countries that they come from. Are you a fan of that kind of background prep, or is that not a football thing?
I think everyone knows what I think. I've put this all over social today. It's definitely not a social thing. I hate it.
For me, I can't quickfire answer this because when and I've been over I've spent a bit of time in Dubai and in some countries like that, there are people in there, they're football mad. Yeah, they become obsessed based on the league. So there's a lot of fans there who would be super obsessed with the Premier League. And then as a result of that, that follows into England because they're not necessarily going to see like their country in these tournaments. And that hasn't always been that way where a lot of countries from that part of the world were in there. So I can understand why it's happening. I don't buy into all of them being paid. I do think you get a lot of fans who just really buy into that culture and feel like they can connect to it. So it's not a football thing if they've been paid to be there. But if they've not been paid and they're just there because they're so in love with that league that then that flows onto the country, then so be it for me. I'm okay with that.
Mate, if you were a superhero, you'd be Super Stretch because you've stretched out the very thin line. To me, it's just definitely not a football thing because it all looks very staged. They all look very similar. The photos, it looks very scripted, especially all the controversy around trying to jack up the hype. So not a football thing for me.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Scotty. Like, if it was just like the English, but like I've seen Ghana, I've seen Argentina, like
it's very staged.
It's just like the same. It's like the same people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything in different shirts every time. Like it's.
Look,
I just hope the football
paid,
even the Spanish fans, Robbie, you saw that one as well. La Roja fans, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If it's paid, I'm not cool with it. It's just having been over there. And even in Malta, like Malta is split down the middle. You either love England and everything about England and you're anti-Italian, or you love Italy, everything about Italy. You watch Ray on your TV.
The good part of Malta.
Anti-England. So I'm on the English side more. But I know in some parts of the world, particularly if you don't see your country in these tournaments, you can kind of build that bond. So, yeah. I don't know. Here, we've got another quick fire from the chat, boys. Rugby League 1. Kangaroos dominate the final, or will it be close?
Very close. I really think this very, very close, and I would not be surprised if there's an upset. But go the Kangaroos. I really want them to lift the trophy, but that will be a very close game.
I think they'll smash them. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah, I'm all for the Kangaroos smashing.
Penrith first, Penrith.
Yeah, that's it.
Such a stitch up. Yeah, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. The result, that is. I reckon Australia will win. Maybe, I still think, 13 plus Australia will win.
All right. On that note, it's been a fun show. Thank you to those in the live chat for joining along. Please leave a like on the video before we finish up. Share the content. We are trying to build that subscriber base, and your word of mouth is our best friend. So share it, like it, comment on it. But most of all, enjoy your football. The World Cup is coming, baby. Get pumped.